Got the Ford Ranger pulled back into the garage, and late fall, early winter, this thing developed a hole in the oil pan, and I was kind of watching it. I was topping the oil off. It was a real slow leak, but it just kind of lost oil pressure altogether one morning. I topped it off the night before. You know, I never let it get too low. I always kept it pretty well topped off. And the next morning, it just wasn't hardly any oil pressure, even though we've got a full pan of oil. So that was that. It's been sitting ever since, and being a two-wheel drive, it's not really a good winter rig, so I've just been kind of letting it sit. Reading through a Haynes service manual to get this job done, and first thing that we're supposed to do, other than disconnect the battery, which I didn't do, is remove that fan shroud. And once that's out of the way, we can disconnect the engine mounts from the frame. It's been about 2 or 3 months since I started filming this project, and I've got a lot done, but I haven't really filmed a lot of the in-between because I just didn't feel like it. Just stuff kept coming up, and I wasn't able to spend a good chunk of time on getting this done. But as you can see, I've got the transmission out, and I think where I stopped filming last is I unbolted the bolts on those motor mounts on either side. I had to get some of those crow's foot wrenches to get the driver's side undone. But using the lift and my engine hoist here, I was able to get onto the engine. I'm just using a strap here. I got onto the engine, I lifted the engine up, you know, 2, 3, 4-ish inches, and able to clear the cross member to get the new pan on. And I also replaced the pump while it was in there, just because it's such a pain in the butt to get to. And the book says you can do it without, but I don't see how you could really do it without taking the transmission off. Plus, I was having issues with my slave cylinder. It was kind of, at times it'd be weak, and at times it'd be firm. So I just figured this is a good opportunity to get 2 things done, so I'm going to replace that as well. But the worst thing about this was these exhaust manifolds. I got a broken off bolt in both the passenger and the driver's side. That one I almost clean melted it through, but anyway, eventually I got them off with some help from my dad. I say that, well, I guess this actually was the worst of it. This is the hydraulic line that comes from the master cylinder down to the slave, and the way it's supposed to work is this plastic collar is supposed to push down in there and separate some fingers that latch onto this groove and keep this held in. Yeah, I'll get the old one, I'll show you. Actually, I'll just show you on the new one here. And you can see those fingers. Let me get to the light. You can see those fingers down in there. If it'll focus on them, there we go. And those hold up onto this thing here, and they keep it in place like this inside the transmission. And this little coppered colored piece that comes out of the side of the transmission through this port here, and you can see the bleeder on the top here. And what I had done was I took this rubber plug out, and I was able to cut this off here because I wasn't gonna get that out of there, because on the old one it had corroded so bad. If I can twist it, yeah, this corrosion here, it had corroded so bad and it was just like caked in there. Oops. all this corrosion was just caked up in here. So there's no way I was going to get that to slide and depress those little fingers so this could come out. So, where's the old one? Here it is. Like I said, I was able to reach up with a sawzall. I was able to reach up in through this plug and cut this port out, which left me with this thing in place on here. And then from there I was able to take a right angle grinder and I just ran these slits down, and then I went around, you know, I cut the quarters around. They're probably on the ground here somewhere. Here's parts of the old fingers right there. But I can't find the old ones to show you how much I cut off, but it wasn't too much. And then I was able to pry it out. And once I got that out, I was able to clean this up, so I'll be able to save this line. You know, like a new one of these lines is like, well, I don't remember, it was like 200-ish bucks or something like that. It was a terrible way to do it. Another issue I have to deal with is this bit of rot in the frame here. Now this is in this piece that covers the frame rail back to here. So it's kind of double walled. This is just the inner one. The outer one is fine. I got in here and I hit this real hard with a screwdriver and a hammer, and this is the only places that I could get it to pop up through. So I think we'll be able to, I'll probably just cut right along here and of course down. I don't know what we'll do, but I don't think I'll try to save that hole. I think I'll replace this right out here, then I'll just put a hole saw in the drill and drill that out afterwards. It doesn't have to be too fancy, but it still needs a place for stuff to drain, you know, crap to get out of there. And that's routed like that because that's where the exhaust routes. It comes down here, you got the caps, and then it kind of passes through this area, and wherever you've got a lot of heat next to the frame, just the salt just kind of super incubates there with the heat and rots things out. Okay, I cut out a piece of metal that's the same thickness as this material, and I got it marked out here with a soapstone where I'm going to make my cut, and just gonna have to get it there, and I'm going to tack it, and then I'm going to heat it right along this area, right along where it bends, and once it's nice and hot I'll be able to form that bend. Got this cut out, and the frame rail where it comes up here, like this section was so bad here that I just cut that out also, but you can see how lifted it was, how much just rust scale there was in there, and that's a good example of why you shouldn't just overlap things and weld them together, because you get all that buildup in there. Focus. I mean, even when we come back, you can see where they were layered right together flat, but then they were forced open because of the rust. Yeah, it just gets worse. And you stick your finger up in there, and that goes back to this A-arm mount here. Then it flattens back out again, but yeah. That's why when you do repairs and stuff, don't overlap the metal. Do butt joints, because they'll end up just like this. And then what's the point of the repair? Or in this case, just plain bad fabrication. Because, well, I guess they don't care, right? Passes the warranty period for them. That's looking a lot better. I'll grind those welds down smooth. Also, before I bent this over and welded it, I looked up in here, and on these welds we were getting nice full penetration. So that's the same thickness as the steel. Yeah, good penetration, so happy with that. I did actually find another grinding disc, so I was able to get that ground down. And I used the flapper disc on it, make it a little smoother, just so it's not so noticeable. But there were welds there, but I'm gonna put some paint on it and we'll be done with this. I went and lost the camera for a few days, so I didn't film putting the Ford back together. But that's alright, I didn't really film too well the whole process anyway. But it starts good, got good oil pressure, everything seems to be all set. I'm still trying to charge the battery. This is a battery out of something else. But I'm really happy to have some room back in the garage here. It's been a while. And that gives me opportunity to work on some other things. This right here is something for the Jeep, and I've been working on that since last summer. Hopefully I'll get some more time in on this soon. We've got another project going here my dad and I are doing. This little project here we actually started filming on years ago. Well, at least a year. Hopefully I can find the old footage somewhere on my computer. But that should be out a couple days. So, I don't know. I also got a bunch of old video I need to edit and get up on here. Maybe 1 or 2 videos anyway, I don't know. But I still haven't linked and won't link my channel to a Plus account, so I can't use the message or the comment section anymore. So if you guys ask me a question on the comments or whatnot, and if it's something real important or interesting, I'll send you a message, but you gotta go check your inbox. And it's kind of hidden now. You gotta go to like Video Manager, I think, and then on the side click Community tab, and then you can find inbox there. But not that information will probably stay relevant for more than a couple months. We'll see.